Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King, and thank you all for joining us tonight. We are so glad to be back with you. As many of you know, we have been off the air, at least live, for the last 2 weeks, and we have missed you. So I hope that you have missed all of us, and I hope that you all are having a great week. Tonight, we are so happy to have with us forensic psychologist, Dr. Debra Warner. Many of you who follow us, you've seen her before, but she's back. And I mean, she is busier than ever. And we're going to definitely talk about that when we get her onto the show. Today, it is now spring. I think when we were last on, it was winter. It is spring now. And the cherry blossoms here in DC are carrying on the National Mall. Now, I didn't take this picture, but this is a picture. This is what the cherry blossoms have looked like. And from what I'm hearing, they look pretty similar to this. And I mean, it is definitely getting a lot of attention. We have tourists who are flocking here to see the cherry blossoms. So if you get a chance, go down on the National Mall, see the cherry blossoms. Sunday will be the best day this week if you all are here and watching the show. And today is National Cocktail Day, ladies and gentlemen. This is tea. But I wanted to let y'all know it's National Cocktail Day, and you grown, you can have whatever you want. So fix yourself that favorite cocktail that you've been, liking, and please partake in that today. Also, I want to talk to you all about something. There is an event here, but I want to talk to you about something. I don't know if any of you all are aware with the AIDS memorial, the AIDS quilt that actually it was 38 years ago that the AIDS quilt laid on the National Mall, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean, I for one have 4 panels on the quilt, and I wanted to tell you a little history about it. This is in its entirety. The quilt, like I said, was put together 38 years ago by a longtime human rights activist, author, and lecturer, Cleb Jones. And in 1978, when gay San Francisco supervisor Harvey Milk and Mayor George Moscone was killed, Mr. Jones organized a rally outside of the State House, and he had all of the people who had someone who had died, their loved ones or friends from AIDS, to put on a postcard, and they used ladders to put all the postcards onto the building, and it looked like a patchwork quilt. So he and his friends got together, and they started the foundation, the Names Project, AIDS Memorial Quilt. And I'm sharing this with you because this week, or actually for the next month, at the Arena Stage, Angels in America, Part 1, Millennium Approaches, is at the historic Arena Stage. And a segment of the AIDS quilt will be on display there at the Arena Stage, free of charge. I think you should go and check it out. It is beautiful. Like I said, this is very dear to me because I have panels on the quilt from my ex-partner, and 3 of my very, very close friends are on that quilt. So if you're in DC, check it out. It is definitely another, piece of display that I think you definitely want to lay your eyes on. All right. Well, like I said, it has been 2 weeks and I haven't seen them, ladies and gentlemen. So I know if you're like me, you're ready. Can we all get on with the chat so I can get my guys? What up?
Hey!
What up?
Hey guys, hey, what's up?
How y'all doing?
It's good to see everybody.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
It's been a while. It's strange because when we did that live show where we were actually in shared space and then just didn't see each other for a while. So it's good to see you guys.
Well, y'all look pretty.
You're biased, but I'll take it.
There's always a lot of teeth and a lot of heads in here when we get together.
Yep.
I know. I was telling you guys, I haven't shaved my head or my face since I saw you guys. So
That can't be true. Are you serious?
I'm serious. I'm serious. So
Did you take a
I look
picture of
like a
what you look like?
lumberjack. No, it's not. What someone once told me that I go from looking like a young mixed boy to an old black man when I don't shave. So
Wow.
you get this tonight.
Well, if that's what you look like, not shaving since the last time we saw each other, God has been good to you. Okay, because I don't know what genes you have, but those are some good genes. How you doing, Mr. Hogar? Gregory Hogar is here. How you doing, Gregory? Thank you
Hey,
for
Gregory.
joining us tonight. Hey guys, you know what? I know I haven't seen you guys, and I just wanted to make mention of something because I'm all about sharing with you guys, and I know you can relate. I am now in a situation where I might have to become, or I will become, a caregiver, for a family member. And, I thought about you too. I know what you've been through. But when I found out that I had to do it, or that I will be doing it, I didn't know how to prepare. So I called my therapist and said, hey, look, this is getting ready to happen to me. And it is my sister who I'm talking about.
Yes.
And it is really something that I thought about how courageous and how strong you are. So I just wanted to talk to you all about that for a minute in the chat. How do you prepare for something that is so unexpected? And I don't know. I don't know. So I just wanted to get your opinion on it. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional. I didn't mean to touch that emotional bond, but that I think people need to know that caretaking is a very serious thing.
It's very serious. It's very
serious.
It is very serious. Hey, Aunt Debbie. That's my Aunt Debbie.
Hi, Aunt Debbie.
Hi,
Thanks
Aunt
for joining
Debbie.
us.
Speaking of caregiving, it's perfect timing because, I've been caregiving for my mom for the last 3 years. February 10th marked my 3rd anniversary. I don't think that there's really anything that can prepare you. You just have to fill your heart with love and patience, because you are never ahead of the curve. If you are going into a caregiving situation, you are behind. You're behind. You're behind. And all you can do is look, watch, learn, and try to, whatever's coming, you were just always adapting. And it's all about the person that you're caregiving for.
Yeah. I would say, and to follow up with Vash, as he talks about you, I can't remember a role in my life that has required such a combination of grace, strength, compassion, patience, faith. Caregiving brought me closer to God than almost anything that's happened. To watch, because I was, as you well know, Alvin, I was a caregiver to both my mother and my father, both of whom I've lost, but and dealing with them in different ways, and exercising a level of patience that there were just times that I had to remind myself, I just hope and pray that when I get to a place where someone has to care for me, like I would always say, how would I want to be treated?
Right.
One of the biggest struggles in both of my parents' cases was the releasing of their level of autonomy and decision, times that I would have to make decisions. I remember several times my mother and my father both said to me, well, let me remind you, I am your mother, or I'm your father. And I would kindly say, I am well aware of that, and I'm trying to be respectful of that. And yet I am your caregiver now, and I have to make a decision that I believe is going to be both in your best interest and able for me to be able to continue to be your kid. It's times where you have to back yourself up. You're a grown up. You're used to saying exactly what you want to say. Hey, Sean. But you also, there's an important level of deference, at least in my case, where it was my parents. You're doing it with your sister. So I don't know about the deference piece, but I just know that it is such a tremendous call upon those virtues that we all hope that someone with patience and kindness, and because when people are failing physically or mentally, it's not their fault.
And they're going to be frustrated. And there's another thing that I want to add to what Bobby has said. And my aunt is the one who shared this with me. It doesn't last forever. Nothing lasts forever.
No.
So in those moments when you think, oh, I cannot,
Mm-hmm.
that thing has pushed me to what I think is my edge.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to remind yourself that this is not going to last forever.
Correct.
And it is amazing how much wind under your wings that will give you to give that much more to make sure that the person that you are caregiving for is having the very best experience possible.
And I will close with this, Alvin. I will say to you that when the day came that both my mother and my father closed their eyes, while I appreciated everything that people had said about, me being a good son, and all I know is that I was able to have a level of peace, knowing that I did everything that I could possibly do to make their lives have value and dignity and all of those things that we would all want as we face, our end, of which we're all facing. Some are just closer than others, but I just know that as difficult as it was sometimes, and as many tears as I cried, because let me just be clear and honest, there were days that I would just sit on the edge of my bed and just cry. And sometimes those cries were just cleansing. They rejuvenated me. Because I had to get it out. I couldn't yell at them, so I needed to go upstairs and just do what I needed to do. But I rest knowing that I did everything that I know they would have done for me, and that they're
You'd want someone to do for you.
Right,
absolutely,
do for you. Right. Yeah. Well, thank you all, first of all, for sharing that with, I'm opening it up, I can be an open book sometimes. And, I think one of the things that I struggled with when I sat down alone and thought, okay, Alvin, you're about to do this. I also thought about, my ex-partner, 30 years ago when I had to be a caretaker for him, but this is my sister. And I don't know why, for some reason, I can't look at the both of them like, okay, it's, one person to another. No, it's not that simple. And I try to explain to my family, and, as best I possibly can, even though they don't they don't have the resources that I have, or they don't know that they have these type of resources, reach out to someone who can help you. I immediately called my therapist and said, I'm going to be faced with something that I'm not sure how to handle. And so speaking with you all have also inspired me. And so I thank you all. But caregiving.
And you're blessed with a village. You're blessed with a very, very good village, Alvin. That I will say to you is don't rest on your laurels about that. Let people help you. When people say, if there are people that your sister is comfortable with and they say, can I come over and sit with her for, a couple of hours and give you time, like, do it. You may not want to, but do it. Or even if it's like, yes, come sit with her so I can just go upstairs and sleep for a couple of hours. Allow people with whom you feel comfortable to help you in whatever way that they can, because it is exhausting. The other piece of it that's just very real is it's exhausting. Right. Because your work continues, the other aspect, so let your village help you is the other thing I would say.
Well, I want to thank you all. Thank you, Bobby and Vash. And ladies and gentlemen, hey, Monica. I think we have some folks that have joined. Rodney has joined. Monica has joined.
Hey, Rodney. Hey, Monica.
I think, Rodney, Monica. I think we said hello to Sean earlier. How you guys doing? So thank you. Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we have a very special guest here. It is National Women's Month, and we have a very special guest with us. And if you all are ready, I'm ready to go ahead and introduce her and get her on here.
Let's do it.
Because already backstage, she's had me hooping. Okay, so
and there's too much baldness going on here. We need a change. There's too much bald heads.
Too much bald head.
There's way too much bald head going on. She about to throw that right on out the window.
Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest is a leading forensic psychologist, popular keynote speaker, trauma expert, training professional, and author. She addresses diverse topics including PTSD, multicultural therapeutic techniques, gang intervention, prison reform, human trafficking, substance abuse, relationships, and mental health. She is absolutely no stranger to the He Said stage, and we are so happy to welcome her back during Women's History Month. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Dr. Debra Warner, please.
Hi, guys.
See what I was talking about, y'all? She has blown the baldness way out
the window.
I'll share with all of you. I'll give you all a little piece.
How you doing, girl?
I am good. I'm just happy to be back. I have been so excited since I knew I was coming back. And you guys always know I make all these little social media things telling people because I'm so excited to be here with you all. So it just makes me happy.
Well, I mean, it makes us happy too. And, like I said, well, thank you again, because I know how busy you are. You have had an extremely, I'm going to say week for now, because that's why I've been following you for a week, getting ready for the show. You have had a very busy week. First of all, you were on our brother show, conversation with Al McFarland this week, or recently.
Tuesday.
Out of Minneapolis. And you have also, you were recently on the Michelle Williams podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Survivor. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Come on. Yes.
One of Destiny's Children.
Yes, Destiny's Children. Yes, and she is so sweet and gracious. I could not have asked for a better person besides you all to interview me. I mean, she is just an absolute delight, and it's on the iHeart Radio, which is also iHeart TV podcast station, which is absolutely phenomenal. So I was just so grateful to be interviewed by her.
Nice. I have to go back and catch that. I have not seen it, but I know that you were on it. So again, thank you for making time to be with us, and you're making your rounds. And I am. You have some exciting news that you're going to share with us as a forensic psychologist, and we're going to get to some other stuff. But to get us started, do me a favor, Deborah, and let everyone know, what is a forensic psychologist?
A forensic psychologist, basically, we merge the law and the psychology together. So we take the two and we explain it to the courts. We kind of give a voice to that. So anything can be a forensic case. I mean, you see a kid who has autism, but he takes mail out of the mailboxes, right? Well, now it's a forensic case. You would call a forensic psychologist, not a regular psychologist, to help you solve that case because it touches the legal system.
Interesting.
All right. Okay. Listen up, you.
Okay. So that's the definition, obviously. Right. But help us understand. You gave us that one example, but give us a little more insight as to what you do as a forensic psychologist.
So I can do testimony. I can go into prisons and jails and categorize people. One of the things I do is I make sense of people's behavior for the court and explain what they're going to do from one moment to the next, and if they're going to continue that behavior. But the biggest thing that I love that I do as a forensic psychologist, because I am in that arena, I can tell people stories, especially male survivors. So I can write evaluations, I can testify, but I can say, hey, how did they get to that point? What was it about their lives that got them here? Right. And so that's what makes a difference, so I can do psychological assessments. I can talk. I actually do executive coaching to women professionals now too, also. So you can touch everything being a forensic psychologist.
Wow.
And let me tell you, Deborah, I sat on a court case for 10 weeks this summer. And forensic psychologists, you were so integral to that case. I had never heard those two words used so much in 10 weeks, except for doing that case. So your job is very critical.
Yes.
To solving a case.
Yes, Yes, to solving a case or explaining the case in ways that a layman can understand that individual. Because everybody says what their opinion is, and they want to put all this gobbledygook in there, right? But really, why did he do this? Why do you think he did this? Is he capable of hurting other people? Is he capable of hurting himself? Is he even capable of remorse? That's the questions people really want to know on a jury, right? They don't want to know all of the other stuff and how, measures I use and what those measures mean. Those are to help me. But I'm to tell the story to help you understand them from living life. If you see them walking down the street, should you be scared?
Okay.
Well, can you give us a taste of what it is that you do using sort of an LGBTQI person?
Yeah. So I once had this person that I evaluated for the courts to see if they were, they could be released. And they actually tried to murder their wives. murder their wife. And I said, okay, so you tried to murder them. Why did you try to murder them? What was going on? And so finally I got to, it was the dynamic that was within the two of them. They like this push-pull relationship, because I said, well, would you do it again? Hell yeah, I'd do it again. As soon as I get out, I'm going to make sure that she understands what she did to me.
Ooh.
And I said, oh my, okay. So, but you've been in prison for 12 years. Oh yeah, I get that. But she calls me every day and says she loves me, but she knows. She knows. And I said, okay, substance abuse. Oh yeah, we do that every day too. I said, are you going to get help? Because maybe that's clouding your thinking about this particular situation. No. So I know what's the dynamic of the substance abuse, of her, and that the two of them, this is what they wanted to do. But when I told the court, I said, I'm going to be honest with you. This is a dynamic. There may be some cultural implications here, but if you let them out, she's going to come back, because they don't want help. They want to continue this dynamic. And I'm not saying anyone should be battered or abused or anything, but for some reason, this person believes that they can continue to do this to the other person.
Wow. Ooh, you had me look. I thought I was in the room with you. Okay.
Lord.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really amazing. And so, touching on this aspect of what you do as a forensic psychologist, you're involved in a brand new series.
I am.
It's premiering on May 4th on CBS?
May 4th on CBS. This is the thing that I wanted to let people know. So you have to find it on May 4th, Murder to Find the Truth. That's about all I can say right now. But if you wanted to know kind of what I do, you probably will get to see it when this airs. And I am very, very excited. I remember when I got the call, I literally was in Washington. I had 2 days to get home. I had 2 days to figure this out and to get on set. And Vash was so gracious to me. I was driving and he was helping me and he was telling me, I said, okay, tell me my lines. Tell me what and yes, it was amazing, but it worked out so well. It was how God wanted it to be. So please watch it so that I can do more of that, because it was just so amazing to do what I love.
That's an interesting graphic that they have there.
I know.
I made that up, actually. That's not
Did
really
you?
a graphic.
I was like, that's kind of bloody.
Okay. I was getting ready to say, okay, Vash, they're going to seek you out too. Okay.
That's bloody.
And
a brother can always use another paycheck. So.
Amen to that. Okay. We're all like, okay.
So speaking of seeking out, as I kind of use no pun intended, Vash. So Debra, how did the producers find you exactly for the series? And the second question, how did you get the role? Yeah.
It was interesting because I got this text and actually a WhatsApp, and they had sent me something, and they said that they found me because of my website. And they said they needed someone with a skill set like mine, but I had no idea what I was about to really be doing. That was the interesting part of it. And it was just really neat. But they looked me up and they said one of the reasons that they wanted me on the show was that I speak like a normal person. So it had to do with I speak like a normal person, and then I had all these skills, but that was it. And they wanted someone like me to do this for that reason, because people want to listen to me talk versus saying 100,000 things that nobody knows what I'm talking about. You clearly can follow it, like the example with the kid with autism.
Well, you're so able to break down complex things in a way that people can understand, and you are extremely good to look at.
Oh, well, thank
you. Come on now. That's a really great combination.
So now that you've said that, though, did you find it difficult to get into this role? I mean, going from your real life to, I don't know exactly, I haven't seen the show, of course, but going to something that's, in my mind, perhaps structured?
No, because I had no structure. So the producers kind of figured that out about me. So I was just being me. And it was just interesting because I remember my brother, when I was on set, he sent me this clip of Neil deGrasse Tyson. And he sent the clip. Bobby, I think you know what I'm talking about to say. And he was at Columbia, and I'm at Columbia right now. I went to school here, and they said we need someone to talk about a solar flare. And he's like, "Okay, I can do that. Are we gonna die?" And they go, "No, will you say that on air?" And so he went. He went to see whatever studio it was, and they picked him up. And he gets there, and he talks about it, and then he watched the playback, and he said, "This is the first time I realized something. I was not asked to be there because I was a person of color. I was asked to be there because I had the knowledge." And he started watching things and other people of color who were on TVs because they were for a program or they were for something. And he said, "I was there because I had a knowledge base, not because of the color of my skin." That's how you change worlds. That's how you change lives. That's how you're a role model. And that's why he started doing what he did. And so my brother sent this to me. He goes, "When you're sitting there, don't get nervous because this is why you're there." Yeah. And so no.
I love it. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. That was my little caveat question.
I had heard that story.
Yeah.
And when a person has a specialty expertise, and they're able to translate it and break it down in quote unquote layman's terms for people, it is a special gift. It's even more special because there are a lot of people who have the skill set, but I could listen to them and still have no idea what they were talking about. So that's a special ability. So I know that you can't give specifics about this show, but if people are interested in just finding out more information about it, tell us what to do.
I will be putting a special link for friends and family on my link tree on my Instagram page, which is just Dr. Debra Warner, or you can go to my Facebook, Dr. Debra Warner ID, or my website. Right.
I think we do have your website. Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So they can just go to my website and you'll be able to see it because I'll be able to send you. So CBS is going to send me all the graphics and the links and everything to do that.
But CBS is the network that will be
in UK. So it will air in the UK first, and then it will air here. I think the series has started. I just don't have all the air dates, and I'm not supposed to give them out yet.
Got it. Got it. And I see that your website is now up on our screen, so we want to make sure that our viewers get a chance to see that as well. Excellent.
And I just want to point out that on all the other shows that you've been on, you did not have the actual air date information. So this is actually...
It's an exclusive.
It's an exclusive.
Thank you.
It's an exclusive.
He said exclusive.
Yes, and I just got it on Tuesday. So this is an exclusive. I have told anybody the air date.
There you go.
Yes,
it's an exclusive.
Yes. Yes. And it is an exclusive for you, by the way, because I said I was going on he said, and I told CBS I wanted to be able to say something about when this is coming out. So
and they said yes. He said. Yes.
The fact that it's in the UK though, I mean, it brings some because the UK they get to the real nitty gritty. I'm almost afraid to watch it right now. Okay, because I know it's going to be like real. It's the real deal.
Yeah,
and I'm not taking anything from those of us in America.
No.
I'm just saying.
I was like, watch it back.
The UK, no, yes. Congratulations, my sister.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been very busy, but very exciting. And I'm just happy to be here to share it with you guys because I feel the joy and support from you guys all the time.
He said.
It's there.
All the time.
So, okay. All right. Well, one of my favorite topics, and because this is how I originally met you.
Yes.
It is time for your third annual script conference, which is called the Summit on Community Resilience Intervention, Prevention, and Training.
Yes.
Congratulations on that. So, if you will, when and where is this year's script conference, and what is the theme?
Oh my goodness. So today it's going to be on DEI, and we're looking at diversity and inclusion, and it's going to be at the California Endowment Center. They have been gracious enough for another year to give us 2 days of space. Wow. And it's going to be July 20th and 21st, and it's free. It's free to anyone who wants to come and anyone who wants to learn about tools or male survivor trauma or how to work in their workplace and help people not be traumatized. But Script is a conference in reverse. And what it is that the same people who are getting the services are on the same panels with the people who are providing them. So you'll have maybe have an ex-community interventionist who's a ex-gangbanger on a panel with the FBI, with the wardens, with the law enforcement. One time I did a Black Lives Matter with 3 police chiefs.
Wow.
Right. And I had people from Black Lives Matter on there. And so, it is one of those conferences to where the consumers are telling the people who are giving the services what they need versus the people giving the services telling them what they're getting. It gives people a voice. Everybody's on a first name basis. Nobody's above the other person. And it is just one of those conferences everybody can feel comfortable. That's one of the things people always tell me. And every year I have male survivors who stand up and disclose for the first time. And it is just somewhere where people can come and feel connected and understood.
So is there a particular theme this year that you're going for, Deborah?
Yeah, diversity and inclusion, DEI.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that. Okay, all right. All right, thank you.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vash. I saw Vash's face. You missed a word. I'm good with social cueing.
Yes, indeed.
I love it. Thank you. Well, as always, congratulations on another successful show.
Yeah.
Conference. I know it's going to be great, and one of these days, I hope to be blessed to attend one of your conferences.
Yes, and if you want to present this year, we're still accepting proposals and presentations. Just go to thescriptconference.com and send it in. And you'll see our email address on there or the flyer they put up. You guys all have it, but you can go to my website and click the button, and you put my website up. You will find it, and you can submit to the Script Conference this year. And we're always wanting people from everywhere.
So how would you handle people who were not local to California? Because you're in California, you'll be in California. So how would people who are not in California participate in the Script Conference?
So a lot of people come on their own merit. We have some small stipends to bring people in, which is great. Okay. We had people from Africa. We've had people come from Philadelphia before. We've had people from New Zealand. We also are trying to set up a platform where people can present on Zoom this year at the endowment with us. Okay. So there's different ways. And you don't have to just talk. You can some people submit films. And then we have a panel about the film. We had people wanted to do an original song for us. Well, however you get your voice out there, we let people do that.
Excellent.
Right on.
So can you tell us how this year's theme specifically connects to survivors?
Oh my gosh. Well, just looking at your workplace, there's not a lot of diversity and inclusion, right? That happens, and equity, and talking to people about that. But it's about survivors have unique sets of things that they need from different environments, right? But they also are very complex. You have Latina survivors, Black survivors, LGBTQ survivors, right? But you have to be able to include everybody in their voice at the same time. But if we're not talking and we're in our silos, how do we know what to include?
Yeah.
So that's why Script's important with trauma, because that's a whole nother layer. And last year, Men Healing did a whole film fest for us, kind of sparking this off on that and police violence. And we had 4 films made by people, and people could go watch this film fest to think about how to include people in the trans population.
Okay, excellent.
Can I take a moment, because Deborah, you're getting a lot of love on this. I think George Pringle. Hey, George. George said something about, he said, "Hey, pretty lady, congratulations, wishing you 5." That's right, pretty lady. And then there was a gentleman, I think it was Mr. Hagar. He said, "Share that hair." He said, "Share that hair." All right, Gregory. Hey, love it. Okay, that's right. Spread the love.
Thank you.
I'm actually bitter, but I'm pushing through it. I'm better.
Bobby, I can hook you up.
Girl, could you imagine if I showed back up on he said with that look? Girl.
They know that you were Dr. Debra 5.
There you go. I love it.
So I have 2 separate questions for you, and I think I might want to jump to this joy question. With all that you do and all of the different traumas and heinous things that you deal with on the planet, how do you actually find a joyous space? How do you cleanse yourself? How do you get back to who we see right now?
Or separate, yeah, because one of our viewers also asked about your ability to separate your personal and your private life.
You know, my family's very involved in my life too, but you know, Nerf darts.
Hey,
we must have, I don't know, 500 Nerf darts and holsters and whatever, but it's like my fun. I allow myself to be who I am at home and have fun. And there's a professional self and there's a personal self. But I realize if I don't have joy, I can't do my life. I can't do my life. I cannot do what God has given me. I'm not centered, right? And you have to have your joy. I am a voice for kindness. I am a voice for love. I always tell people, let's listen, let's love. You can hear people wonk, 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 right? But if you're not listening to their words, you can't respond with love. Who doesn't like responding with love? You see people's difference in how people respond, right? So I keep my joy by making sure that I am giving love, and then maybe that'll come back to me and you can feel it. Now, there's sometimes it doesn't, but then you just move the other direction. You don't allow that to come into your temple. You don't allow it, you know? And so finding my joy, finding your center is so important to me in the work that I do.
I totally live by that. I do. I think I even posted something today to that effect. You know, other people who want to tell you, you know, to be what they want you to be, but you are so centered. No one can do that. You know the joy that you have within, and clearly it exudes. I'm going to say, I know. Great question, Vash. Thank you very much for
it. Was not mine. I just, it came through me. Courtney wanted to know. Dr. Debra originally said she was hoping we would ask her that. So it was necessary in this moment.
Yes.
I loved it. I'm sorry. I digress because now you got me. I'm so full of joy. I'm shaking.
Well, that's good. So Dr. Debra, I know you always make each year bigger and better. What's going to be better this year, or bigger or different in the Script Conference than previous years?
Oh my goodness. We did get a little bit of funding to be able to bring some other people in, which is great. We love more funding because we live off donations. But I think this is our 7th or 8th year. So we have really learned what it is to put on a conference, but we have such a support staff now around us who know how to do the social media. Before it was me and my husband and my kitchen or whatever, but now we have such a great staff, and we've already have so many great presentations, you know, that people wanting to come in and talk about this from such unique perspective. Is really the people that make Script, right? And I'm seeing a flood at this point. I'm always going, oh, am I going to get presentations? Man, I have so many right now that it's like I can see where this is just going to go another level. Last year we were at USC and we were in one room, and that was the first time we were all together, right, in one room for the conferences. That was the space we got. And then they said, oh, we should do this again. So I redesigned the script. We will have lots of breakout rooms. We'll probably have about 40 things going on at once, but sometimes we close it down and we're all together again. So that way we all know where each other are, which is great. And then we added in the intermission, Nita from the boxing club is going to come, and she's going to do a stretch with us to get us moving, and so we're just not sitting around. That helped people a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like a disco break is always good.
Yeah, and she does this whole boxing thing with the self-care lab. And I used to go box before COVID in there, and I'm telling you, it changes your mind. It gets your mind and your body together, and it's just so much joy, and everybody loved that. So I'm like, we have to keep doing that.
Yeah, right on.
You mentioned that you have a good number of presentations and contributors and so forth, and I'm curious as to how you get them. Are they all simply just submitted through your website or et cetera, or are there chances where you see people on social media and go, that I want that person to be at the conference? How do you determine? Where do you find them, and how do you determine who's going to be on it?
So a lot of people find us and submit themselves. Okay, they email it, and then we go through them as a committee. Sometimes there are people I say I really want them there, and then I reach out to them myself. Sometimes you will get a personal invite from me on that. So it really depends. There's a lot of people that I know in the community. I'm like, you know what? People are asking about this topic. Will you please come? Like Michael Levington's coming this year, and he's doing a whole thing on police suicide and battered men. That's deep.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
But someone asked, and I said, I know someone, I know the best person.
Wow.
Captain Ann Young's coming, and she's going to join him.
Yeah.
But yeah, and she's going to do a whole thing. I mean, so there's so many different aspects of topics, but people to match the topic is where I come in to make sure all those things fit, together. So that's the amazing part of it.
And what a striking presentation. Battered men and you said police officer suicide.
Police
suicide. That's and both very real.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks about how they go together.
Yeah.
She did a whole course on our LLU about police officers who commit suicide.
Yep.
And then he's like, let's take that further. And I'm like, oh my God. And then people started asking, and I'm just like, you don't even think that cops get depressed like that over things they see, right? Can you imagine? So I'm like, that's going to be off the hook. Like,
Alvin, do you remember that police officer that took his life in Silver Spring not that long ago in the parking lot, in the parking garage?
I know very well, very much so. And I've never told Debra this, but that's part of my job. I work in emergency preparedness. And so I do know who you're referring to, Bobby. I really do. Yeah, it's very real.
Yeah.
So look, I know I don't, because I want to make sure that we ask Debra every question that we have up on here, because girl, you're like a ray of light. So look, let me ask you. I know that you mentioned, how people can, go to your website and where they can get more information, but also how can people see previous conferences? Are they available as well?
On my YouTube channel, we recorded them, especially in COVID, so they can go to my YouTube channel, and it's the Listen and Love network on YouTube, and they can go there and they can see all the previous people that have presented. Absolutely.
Excellent.
You all heard it. You all heard it. Thank you, Debra. Thank you.
Right, chair.
All right, so we got to jump over to this, because last year when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, we talked about the possibility of having you on, but we didn't have you on to talk about that from a forensic psychologist perspective. But since then, Chris Rock has found his voice, and he has gone on and done his own comedy special. What is your take on this whole Chris Rock comedy special, all that? What's your take on it?
Talk about not having your joy. There's a lot going on there that Chris isn't dealing with. And he doesn't want to talk to him. He needs to work through something, right? And it broke my heart. Honestly, it was painful for me to watch, because clearly, right, Chris Rock has a lot of stuff that's, put in him that he is leashing out and attacking instead of looking at, okay, but how did I get there? Right? Not that it condones anything that happened, but the response that he's having to this and what he's saying, it made me go, there is some old history there that needs to be dealt with. And until he does that, he's going to be angry. He's not going to have joy. I mean, it really showed me that there was something really under there that he's struggling with.
And thank you for sharing that. I know you've kind of answered my question, but I also want to say I agree with you, Debra. When his voice cracked, when he was talking about it, that got me. And I thought as well, he's not coping with this well. And then when he messed up his script, that also, because he's a professional, and that told me he's not coping with this. So my question, do you think that there could be healing at all from having a conversation per se?
I think there could be healing, or there could be something that helps him go forward, right? Because something is broken, right? And when something's broken, you can't just put a Band-Aid on it.
Right.
You have to have a journey to go forth. Maybe he has more trauma in his background, and this sparked it. Maybe he was traumatized from this incident. Whatever it is, because the definition of trauma is your perceived threat, right? But whatever it is, something is deeply in there that is affecting this man, and it saddened my heart. So nothing but good can become of it if he chooses to go forward in a way that is going to help him.
Right, exactly.
Good advice. It's also like to have trauma so public, so public. There's no place to hide, and everyone has an opinion about it. And everyone, like, you can't go anywhere without someone wanting to talk about it. There has to be challenges with that.
And can you imagine what that did to him feeling as a man up there, and then had to have people standing at the edge of the stage so that, you know, Will didn't return, or what was going on backstage that we didn't see, and to protect him, and then he's a man, and then he didn't hit him back, and he didn't press charges, or, you know, all of those that's going on inside him. Not to say that he was to blame for any of it. There's just something that he's struggling, and it was clear to me he is struggling.
Right. Well, I also want to bring up this point. He has good people around him to a degree, because from a business perspective, I thought it was handled miraculously. I thought he held on to that information until someone paid for it, and he didn't go to the mainstream folks that everybody would have imagined that he would have gone to share that information. So,
like people,
right. So he's kind of messed up about it, but there's a little part of me that says you got good people around you who's actually watching you, but you're like, you know, you stick that plug in that socket, you might blow.
Something, and that's what a lot of men do. They'll explode all of a sudden, and that's what I'm concerned about. Not that I know, I have not evaluated him. I'm just going on what I see, and I am concerned that there's something in there that is has a Band-Aid on it that is not being touched, and he should maybe seek out, you know, talking to someone or even a group. You know, he's famous, so it has to be a special one, but something. You know, just to give him the support that's around him, or find someone he really trusts and go talk to him and process it. You can talk about it as much as more you talk about it, the more it helps you, the more you get it out. Even if it sounds like what you're saying is like nobody wants to listen to me, it doesn't matter. Talk in a tape recorder, make a journal then. But some healing needs to happen here.
Yeah, I agree.
It perfectly ties into the slight shift I want to send us into the direction of looking at social emotional learning and understanding that even sometimes from physical acts, we need to really address them, not just from the physical space, but also from the social emotional learning space. And for those of you who may not be aware with that terminology, it is the process of developing the self-awareness, the self-control, and interpersonal skills that are vital for school or work and life success. And research has proven that people with strong social emotional skills are better able to cope with everyday challenges and benefit academically, professionally, and socially. So, Dr. Debra, as a forensic psychologist and male trauma expert, particularly just looking at the situation that we have been discussing, why is social emotional learning important?
I just presented at the Cosmopolitan Club on this, and I'm helping create a program called Laughter from Within, and it helps kids be able to find their emotions and figure out how to learn social skills, and also learn to understand what's going on with them feelings wise, and present it outward and be able to communicate it. We just did our first class, and this kids learn monologues. They use comedy. They use sketches to be able to talk about a subject. But they, at the end, they say, I'm going to be stronger in interviews. I'm going to be able to look people in the eye. I'm going to feel confident, because when that confidence is in there, you can't move forward. I mean, I did this with my son. He was 6 and he couldn't read. And I'm like, what is going on inside? So we begin this journey of social emotional learning. Right. And that's what got us here. Absolutely. You know, that's what helped.
So speaking of, I mean, you did that talk, but you're also on this tour to promote your son's new book.
Yes.
We have a quick little video about Freddie's Fox's Freaky Fire.
Try to say that 4 times.
I know, right?
Okay.
I'm Lawrence Carey, and you have my book. I use social emotional learning to write this book because I translated my thoughts on people and how I see the world directly from my mind to the book. And I hope that you can use social emotional learning to do the same thing.
The first thing that strikes me is that hair.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute.
Like, if anyone wondered whether or not that was genetic, we have seen.
I am so glad that it wasn't just me. I thought it. I wasn't going to say it.
That was cute.
Bob, you know I always say what's in your head.
Thank you.
Yes, and the dimples. But, you know, look at how proud he is.
Yeah.
Look how
Yeah.
proud, and those characters are real. And you know what's interesting is my daughter too, she wrote a cookbook, and hers was cooking, right? Because she was a foster kid, but they both got over emotional hurdles. And I'm so proud of both of them for being able to do that. And he's writing his third book. I called him, he said, okay, we got to start the third one. He said, I already know. It's going to be about Sonia Sloth, which is his sister, and you know, her dilemma. And, you know, and it's just amazing because as a family, we come together, we write these books. My brother illustrated it. And, you know, but that's part of social emotional learning. Absolutely. Is being able to touch that person in their own world, bring it forward so that they can learn and grow in their environment. And look at him. He's got 2 books, and now he's going to go to Berkeley and work with the paleontology lab this summer. And this is a kid that, you know, had trouble.
And it speaks to our ability to understand that so much of the way that we respond to much of what we encounter in life is not just what someone says or does to us. It's how we see ourselves. Right. And value ourselves in response to those things. So yeah, it's very powerful. Yeah.
Yes, and how you love someone in that moment, right?
Absolutely.
That builds their self-esteem, their self-concept. It's amazing.
And he gives great hair. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. Well, look, Dr. Debra, we first of all, we can talk to you all day, all night. But I want to thank you. We have to wrap up for the moment, and don't leave us because we want to bring you back. But thank you, Dr. Debra. As always, it's been a full, eventful, and educational experience with you. So really quick before you go, what is the best way for people to follow up with you again on all that is going on with you?
I would say go to my website, drdebrawarner.net, click on my social media, especially if you click on Instagram, you really are going to see like all the stuff because you can go into my link tree and connect to everything that I have. So that would be your best bet to follow me and everything. Just click on my social media platforms.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Debra. Thank you. We're going to bring you back, ladies and gentlemen. You all can put up a little smiley sign. Let's give it up for Dr. Debra.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Okay. We'll be right back. So, ladies and gentlemen, wasn't that a wonderful, wonderful conversation?
It was a hair-filled conversation.
Well, you know, we have another segment that we need to get on before we leave you guys tonight. So, if you are ready, let's get on with the pop-up. All right. Right up front, ladies and gentlemen, we know what's going on with this orange president, ex-president that we had. He is actually, in my opinion, or let me just keep it professional. Donald Trump is in the process of being indicted for his cover-up or his affair for paying off porn star Stormy Daniels. And Alvin Bragg, who is the district attorney elected in Manhattan, is presiding over the case for the indictment. But what I want to talk about is how this man right now is, I mean, he's just doing what he does. First of all, he's diverting this because this is really a minor case in all rest, of all what's going on. What's going on in Atlanta for him is really what he's trying to divert all his attention from, because he has been every case that is being brought against him from Atlanta, he hasn't been able to overturn it. And so this right here is just like, him trying to rally all the people to, come and tear up the place again like they did on January 6th, 2 years ago. This is all a diversion. So I'm not even feeling what he's doing. And I'm sorry, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, the district attorney in New York today, someone sent him a package that had white powder in it. Okay.
What kind of powder?
Well, it was I don't know, but it's under investigation. But it wasn't the kind that's
suspicious.
Like anthrax. I'm wondering about anthrax.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
That's what they were concerned about.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't. So yeah, I just wanted to that's what's going on with that Donald Trump person, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and on another front, in a 5-hour House hearing on Thursday, TikTok's CEO, Shao Zi Chu, let his frustration show. He was testifying about the safety of TikTok in terms of privacy, and he actually got a little frustrated, and he responded. He asked, he said, "I don't think that ownership is the issue here." He said, with a lot of respect, America's social companies don't have a great record with privacy and data security either. I mean, look at Facebook, referring to the 2018 scandal in which Facebook users' data was found to have been secretly harvested for years earlier by a British political consulting firm. So they have been drilling and moving in the direction of banning TikTok with millions of US subscribers and viewers. And I'm just wondering, what do you guys think about this? Because they're saying that China has the capacity to get specific information about American citizens, spy on them, find out information. They've called the CEO to task, and he's not just saying that it's not true, there's no evidence of it, but he's also calling American social media companies on the floor for saying, you all don't have the best record of keeping things secure either.
I'm with him.
Yeah, y'all, to think that anybody's information is safe in this day and age is ridiculous.
Right.
They already got the information. If they don't got it, they're a step away from getting it. And if you're operating in a world where you think that is not the case, then you're being super duper naive.
Right.
That's all I got to say.
No, not just naive. Super duper naive.
Super duper naive.
Super duper naive.
But
exactly.
I think rather than go to China, they need to start right here in the U.S. with other websites. And I mean we're I mean, because Twitter is, come on, let's start there.
Well, I mean, the thing that's happening with Twitter is Elon Musk is about to roll out their new paid verified system. So if you're on the old free verified system, that is coming to an end soon on April 1st, whether you be a celebrity, a politician, influencer, journalist, company, whatever, you guys are going to have to start paying a different price for that new verified check mark. For $1,000 a month.
That is a mess.
$1,000 per month for companies, and that does not include taxes. You can then nominate as many affiliates as you want to get that blue check, but each person you nominate is going to cost them $50. Now, what I don't understand is that if you're an individual and you want that blue check mark, it's going to be $8 a month.
Right.
So to me, it seems like I would just get everybody that I would want and just go like, look, pay $8 a month. But I don't even get why that blue check mark matters.
Because if you think that it's not going to be replicated within
first of all, if you're on Twitter, the thing about Twitter is that anything you say can be seen, heard, and reached to and by anybody. Right. So I don't understand why that you need that blue check mark. Are you that insecure? I love you. Well, you are worthy. Well, send me $8.
Twitter is doing more damage than TikTok. Start there. Call Elon Musk into the room. Let's do that. Well, for all of you folks who, like me, who love, okay, let me make sure that I get this right, because, I tend to mess this word up sometimes. Bridgerton, okay?
Bridgerton.
Daggone. Season 3 is about to start on Netflix on April the 13th, and you all please get in front of your TV. I love season 1. Wasn't crazy about season 2, but season 3, I think they're going to really bring it. So I wanted to let you all know that it's on April 13th. It is coming back, and so we wanted to let you all know. Real quick, I want to say hello to Shannon. I want to say hello to Neil. Neil is like model extraordinaire. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Is he single?
I don't know. Sam.
Oh my God.
I don't know. But
the wheels have come off.
Before we leave the chat, on a serious note, ladies and gentlemen, we want to give our heartfelt condolences, actually, in a sense, to Uganda.
Thoughts and prayers.
I don't know if you all have heard, and Bobby and Vash, you all have followed this piece of news, so you can share that with our audience. Mm-hmm.
Well, 2 days ago, the government of Uganda signed into law the fact that it is illegal to identify as LGBT. So anyone who even just identifies as LGBT can be thrown into jail. And you have to imagine that in Uganda, just being thrown into jail is not like it is here. It is going to be extremely unpleasant. And I just hope that those people live. My heart is so heavy with all of the movements going on the planet against the LGBT
Yep.
QI populations.
Yes.
I just do not understand how we could have spent decades telling the world, hey, let's give everybody a seat at the table. And now that people have identified themselves as needing a seat at the table, that there is now this movement to criminalize and penalize LGBTQI people. We have to do better. We have to do better. Like, who are we as a species if we are not taking care of all of us, identifying all of us, and recognizing all of us? The world has never existed without LGBTQI people. It has never existed without us. It has been so. People in Uganda, we see you. We will do all that we can, and I'm praying for you all.
You raise good points, and it is a lack of humanity at the highest level. And as you said, our thoughts and our prayers for safety for those who identify as LGBTQIA plus in Uganda. And we also want to acknowledge also the recent ruling against transgender female athletes competing at the highest levels, such as the Olympics and so forth. There is an active ban to keep transgender women from competing at the highest level. So to say that the LGBTQIA plus community is under attack is not an exaggeration at this point. And so, yes, we do lift our good thoughts, our prayers for our community.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we have Dr. Debra to return if she is backstage? Dr. Debra, thank you once again. Thank you, Bobby and Vash. Thank you, Dr. Debra, for being here tonight. We love you. You know, we love to have you on the show. You bring so much joy, knowledge, just experience. You bring it. You bring it.
And so, the hair.
And thank you for being here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you our words of the week for this week. Surround yourself with people who push you to do and be better. No drama, no negativity, just higher goals and higher motivation. Good times and positive energy. No jealousy or hate. Simply bringing out the absolute best in each other.
Oh,
that's
amazing.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. Bobby, Vash,
Alvin,
me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. We are back on the new episode of He Said.
He Said.
He Said.
Have a good weekend. Thank you, Dr. Debra.
Thank you, Dr. Debra.
Thank you, Dr. Debra. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.